committee chairs and vice chairs. Trustee Akpan.
Morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And we'd like to begin the meeting this morning with a pulley. So I would like to ask Trustee Ahuna from Kauai to say the pulley for us this morning.
Thank you, Chair. Bow our heads. Dear Lord, please help us today, gather our thoughts, and help us work as one. Today is a very crucial day in the future of leadership, and it's important that we all think with our best minds. It is important that we take care of each other and we remain unified. I want to ask that you give us the knowledge to think and communicate well today, and I want to make sure you take care of all of our OHA family that is gathered here today for this important vote. This is an important time in the future of OHA, and Lord Jesus Christ, I just want to make sure that you give us the strength and the knowledge and the humility to make a good decision. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Trustee Ahuna. Let me explain the process. I'm going to open up the meeting for nominations, and I will recognize people for their nomination. And what the process will be is the first person nominated will be voted on first. If there's a second, the second person will be voted on secondly and third, and so on. And the one who has the most votes will be the chair of the board. So let us begin. Trustee Ahuisa.
Nominate Trustee Rowena Kana, Chair.
Trustee Wahe.
Madam Chair, point of order. I believe the nomination process, according to Robert's rules,
Yes,
that
that is
all
right.
nominees, the floor is open, and that rather than go one by one, all nominees are placed in nomination. Following that,
According to Robert's rules, the chair of the board.
I nominate Bobby Lindsay.
Excuse me, Mr. Apo. According to Robert's rules, the chair sets the rules at the beginning.
Member does not have to get recognition, and often in small assemblies, a member can call out a name while still ahead. Nominations from the floor, and the Robert's Rules of Orders are in our bylaws, and it is the rule of how we operate.
It is also Robert's rules that the chair sets the rules. That is Robert's rules.
Madam Chair, I would recommend that you call the meeting to order and take an official roll call to see if we can proceed. You have not done that yet.
This meeting is coming to order at 9:35 in the morning, and let's take a roll call. And I apologize.
Here.
Present.
Honored to be present for my first meeting. Aloha.
Present.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Thank you, Trustee Machado. All right. We have two nominees, myself and Trustee Lindsay. So let us begin by... is somebody going to second Trustee Lindsay's?
I second Trustee Lindsay's nomination.
Okay. All right.
Madam Chair, I would like to offer some remarks on behalf of Chair Lindsay. Remarks in support of Bobby Lindsay for chair. Madam Chair, I want to start with what he is not. In selecting a leader of an organization with as complex and as important a constitutionally mandated mission, such as the Office of Foreign Affairs, with its sweeping and sometimes overwhelming fiduciary duty, it's as important to know what that leader is not as it is to know what that leader stands for. This is particularly important when attempting to unify an organization as contentious and fractured as oftentimes we can be. Leadership style is critical. Chair Lindsay does not lie. Chair Lindsay does not play clandestine political games. Chair Lindsay does not engage in rancor. Chair Lindsay does not demean the institution and those who work for it as a political strategy to make it appear that he's going to save OHA from the rest of us. Chair Lindsay does not cross lines of ethical behavior. Chair Lindsay does not spread falsehoods about colleagues behind closed doors. Chair Lindsay is not your typical politician, and sometimes his forthrightness and honesty, framed by his gentleness of spirit, is viewed as a political vulnerability. These things that he is not, in my opinion, is more important at this point in OHA's attempt to unify ourselves than his perceived lack of the typical political aggressiveness and deception that some believe should be a leadership norm. What he is. First, Chair Lindsay is a humble and gentle spirit. What a breath of fresh air in the midst of the high passion and turmoil that too often defines our operating culture. Chair Lindsay brings a high moral standard to his leadership style. You always know where he stands. He does not deceive. He can be trusted. Chair Lindsay is about empowering every trustee to be the best that we can be in the ways we choose to contribute to moving OHA forward. I have never known him to deny or thwart any trustee or administrator from bringing a reasonable proposal to the table for discussion. His deference to the trustee body politic to fully participate in analyzing and weighing in on proposals in the procedural openness of a public meeting is a remarkable and risky leadership option that he exercises consistently from the chairman's office, where the buck stops. His openness to trustee ideas has led this body in adopting a code of ethics for trustees. Remember, trustees, why we needed to adopt that code of ethics? He lent the full weight of the chair's office toward developing and installing a fiscal sustainability plan over the initial objections of the administration, which they perceived as a threat to their fiscal integrity. And they are now cooperating. This initiative must continue toward full implementation, and a dramatic change in leadership structure would put 2 years of hard work and considerable investment at risk. He lent the full weight of the chair's office to the establishment of 2 pivotal ad hoc committees whose work stands ready to be scheduled for full vetting by the board. These are the ad hoc committee on the ideal CEO profile that will move us toward a far more thoughtful CEO recruitment process in the future, and higher level of sophistication in defining the separation of powers between the trustees as the policy implementing body and the administration, which has to interpret and implement those policies. Being a strong leader means more than bossing people around. It means working with others in a cooperative manner. It means sometimes giving so that you can get. When we look at the big picture, he has moved the agency in the right direction, and it's been like turning a battleship. Finally, let me be candid. One of the implications of this reorganization process is the degree of probability that a new CEO recruitment might emerge. That volatile and politically explosive consideration should not be part of how we each should vote today. Our vote for who will occupy the seat of the chairman of the board should be cast with an unfettered consciousness, separate and apart from the CEO question. What is before us today is which candidate meets the litmus test of what constitutes the best possible leadership that will unify this organization and move us forward. For me, my vote for retaining Chair Lindsay is a vote to complete the important work on fiscal sustainability. Go ahead. Fiscal sustainability. Chair Lindsay brought this about. Trustee policies, moving forward on that, and what I expect would be continuing to overhaul the very framework of our fiduciary duty to improve the quality of life of our beneficiaries, whom I prefer to refer to as citizens. Finally, until, as intended, when OHA was created as a placeholder, a new governing entity emerges as the nation. We are the nation. Let us act like a nation and vote for dignity, honor, and ramping ourselves up to the highest level of our fiduciary responsibility. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else wish to say anything? Trustee Ahuno.
Okay. Before I vote, I just wanted to share with you all my thoughts on leadership principles as well. I do this with the hope that we consider this decision very carefully, as it will have long-lasting impacts on the future of this agency and the Lahui. We are at a very critical juncture politically, economically, and even environmentally. Just saw a president get elected on a platform that flies in the face of the work we do, the work we are mandated to do. We advocate for the rights of our people, land, economic development, housing, healthcare, and education. Our president-elect and many groups opposed to our work believe we all operate on a level playing field. All of us have dedicated our lives to working for the betterment of our communities, or we would not be here. We all know that Native Hawaiian communities are not the same level playing field. Our people have been left behind far too often. Our voices silenced. I believe that it is our kuleana at OHA to assist in leveling that playing field, to raise the voice of our people. Today we face steep opposition with the incoming presidential administration. The ferocity with which President-elect Trump has indicated that he will come after programs and agencies such as this one is unprecedented. I anticipate very stiff challenges coming our way. Now is not the time to make decisions in haste. We must make decisions with clear and level heads, not based on emotion. We must be calculated in our efforts going forward. We must not only work for our communities, we have to align with our communities and holomua. Everyone has to be in this ba'a, paddling in sync together. To do so takes fair and balanced leadership and a deep commitment to our mission to better the lives of our people. I will continue to work with each of you to do this, to work as a team to build foundation. I know that Trustee Bob Lindsay has proven this, that he is open to working with all of us. If we are going to ensure that our trust portfolio is successful, and if we are going to move projects like Kaka'ako and Kukani Local off the ground, it is going to take all of us paddling in sync. I believe we can do that with Chair Lindsay leading this board. He is fair and inclusive, and this is vital in moving us forward. I plan to work closely with him, and in turn, work closely with each of you so that we find common ground on issues that we do not see eye to eye on. Chair Lindsay, when I first talked with you about Mauna Kea, I had an idea on how we could approach it to give our communities a greater voice. I know at first you did not agree. However, we talked about it at length and we came to agreement to move forward an opportunity for our people. Well, we did, and it's taken much longer than what we wanted, and it is still not completely resolved. However, we are very, very close. That is leadership and teamwork. We, which means all of us, are a team, and we may not agree on many things, but if we are going to take on the coming threats, challenges ahead, we must work together. Chair Lindsay has proven that he is willing to work with all of us if we are willing to work with him. And for that reason, I support him and urge all of you to jump in this ba'a in supporting him. Thank you.
Trustee Ahuisa.
I want to say a few words in favor of Trustee Rowena Kana. By taking this PBN, in fact, it quotes Ukili. It's the editorial from the PBN. Talked about charity, bravery, and a grumble. It talks about nonprofits and how today we have to. Let me read it. Our readers include business leaders who sit on nonprofit boards and who write big checks, and nonprofit leaders running an organization with their eyes on the bottom line. I have been on this board. I sat in this very 2 years ago. No, 1 year ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. But in 2014, really started 2015 after the investiture. And I watch how, sure, of course, I agree. I'm not saying Chair Lindsay is not a good person, but I saw how our beneficiaries, let me continue here, regarding the support nonprofits need and the support that appeals to most of our beneficiaries. This is an expensive place to do business as it is, Hawaii. And we see so many of our beneficiaries, our Hawaiian people suffering. In fact, I just met Alapai yesterday, Colette from Molokai. I don't know how you recognized me walking down the street. I also want to quote this anniversary that Kim wrote about, where Rick Blangiardi, general manager of the Hawaii News Now, all talked about progress made a little bit at a time. When citizens and groups speak up, progress is hard by the yard, but a cinch by the inch. And this is why I'm nominating Trustee Rowena Kana to see how we can do this a little bit more by the inch, and to look at our bottom line, because I've tried to get more revenue in. I've tried to do things in the community. I was stopped, not by chair, but maybe by people who work for you. I was denied 3 times. And I guess people forget that you're going to run for chair again, so they kind of dismissed me as like nothing. So that's why I'm just trying to give our organization a chance. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Chair.
Yes.
Chair Akana, may I have permission
Akina.
to speak to
Absolutely.
the nomination? I would like to speak to the nomination of Rowena Akana for chair. With all respect to past chair of Bob Lindsay, to whom I give my aloha for having welcomed me so well into your role as acting chair, providing access and information. But before I give my comments, may I first humbly say to all of you how honored I am to sit amongst you, and how much I appreciate the work and the years of experience you have given to the Hawaiian people. It is a real privilege to be here. And I do want to say, before my first comments, that I am very much humbled by the opportunity to stand in the footsteps of Trustee Haunani Apoliana, whom I respect deeply and hope will continue to be of counsel to all of us. I have taken my first fiscal duty very seriously, which is to cast my vote for chair. But I have not had a certain advantage that my colleagues here have had. You have the opportunity to look at the hearts of fellow trustees. You know how they have worked, you have looked at their character, and you know them personally. I do not have this privilege. Instead, in order to exercise my vote, I had to do due diligence and do the following in order to prepare myself for this day. I had to read through the minutes, comb through the comments and the positions taken by the trustees. I had to look through the financial documents, read through the fiscal sustainability reports. I had to do my research in order to set up a set of criteria. In other words, on what basis would I cast my vote? Again, I did not have personal considerations, and so I'm going to make the assumption, and I believe it is correct, that all of you have aloha for the Hawaiian people, that all of you care about building a strong OHA. So the criteria I came up with had to be very specific. Our number one need at OHA is to build a strong fiscal sustainability. In other words, to take the trust, to protect that trust, to grow that trust, and then to ensure that that trust is met for that trust is used to meet the needs of the Hawaiian people. And so I had to ask, whose policies, whose statements in the minutes, whose record best demonstrated a commitment to this fiscal sustainability? At the outset, I'm grateful for the work that was done in the last term by the administration, thank you Kopahana and your team, on producing a fiscal sustainability program that was featured in Kawaiʻola most recently. In comparing that with the actual financial statements, our team, which we put together of economists and advisors, has produced crucial recommendations for achieving fiscal sustainability. It's a document that I sent both during the last 2 weeks to each of you as trustees, and I'll submit it to the chair now if you don't mind, just for the record here, so that it may be available to anyone. What this shows, after a careful analysis of the financial statements of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, is that the fiscal sustainability plan is a good start, but it's only a good start. The board has authorized that direction. In order to be successful, there needs to be a certain discipline in the exercise of policy that affects 5 areas. And if we don't have those policies in place, we will not be effective. That was my criteria. Who on this board has demonstrated a commitment to ensuring the following policies? Let me tell you what they are. Number 1, we must reduce spending. As trustees, we must be willing to reverse the trend of the past several years in which we have been spending more than we are earning. Number 2, we must stop depleting the fiscal reserve. In other words, we must protect the intergenerational equity of the trust rather than spend it down at the rate we have been spending it. And indeed, your own auditors have cautioned you, my fellow trustees, on continued spending and its impact upon the trust. Third, in our spending, we must stick to our mission. There are many things we spend on, but what we have to do is ensure that the spending is focused on the betterment of Hawaiians, housing, jobs, education, healthcare, not political programs. Fourth, we must increase revenues aggressively. We must find creative and responsible ways to increase the revenues of OHA for the sake of beneficiaries. Projects that have stalled, like Kaka'ako development, need to be fast-tracked. And fifth, this is extremely important, we must establish and strengthen our checks and balances, both at the board and throughout the administration. We need to embrace opportunities for greater transparency and accountability, as well as ensure our organization stays committed to our financial sustainability plans. In closing, I'd like to say I have high hopes for the future of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. I have high hopes that we can be strong and meet the needs of the Hawaiian people. And I would also like to commend to all of you Rowena Akana for chair, because I believe that she has made the strongest commitment to the insurance of these 5 policies. And my report is available should anyone wish to see that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Trustee Hakim.
I wanted to make a comment. I don't have a prepared speech, but
Trustee Machado.
for you, Trustee Akana, one of the most scathing issues that I've learned in the last year is when you filed a lawsuit against all of the trustees. And it was based on your personal assumption that you had access to the executive session minutes, and then you wouldn't follow our procedures. So in spite of what all the good stuff they've been talking about, you have not done certain things that I can support you. Number one, when you filed the lawsuit, in the research and the analysis that we did, we found that there was a disbursement of confidential information that was released to a certain individual that was used against the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. You can deny that, but we have facts that was part of the discussion in the court. And there was a ruling against you for what you did. And we spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend our lawsuit against you, because you came across each one of us individually. So there is certain character flaws about you, Rowena, and I want to be point blank. You are really punitive when you feel people don't work with you. You've been able to reduce certain aspects of openness. All of those things reflect on you. So even if you become the chair, there are certain issues you're going to have 5 votes. You may have your majority here to move wing-ding stuff that you feel is important, but it's outside that the public will be viewing. I recall when Trustee Bobby Lindsay felt so strong that she could help all the comments that this trustee, the newly elected trustee Aquila, and appointed you to the Asset Resource Management Committee to do exactly that. And what we found out, you were raiding the fiscal reserve to support certain projects. The list goes on. And because of that, midway in the process when you were appointed, Trustee Lindsay had to ask you to be removed because of pending issues that you had created on your, and I became the Asset Resource Management individual. You had ample opportunity to come up with a sustainability plan under your leadership, and you failed to do that. It came up after that when I became the chair, working with the chair then, Bobby Lindsay. So no matter what, I'm not a drama queen, but I can talk to you about facts. And this is how I see that you cannot be the chair of OHA. We may be outnumbered in the votes, but I will tell you that on the record, and that's all I want to say without a prepared speech.
Thank you. I think that on the record, I need to correct you.
You can do all you want to correct me. If I was you, I'd take the vote, Rowena.
Wait, but
Wait. Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
Number one, my lawsuit was 5 years ago, and the lawsuit...
Cannot be 5 years ago, Rowena. Only 2 years ago.
The lawsuit was about sunshine law.
That's not
it
what
was
happened.
Sunshine law, because this board was taking things into executive session and taking action on things that should have been in public session. That is the lawsuit, and that lawsuit, the judge can tell you, it is still out there. It's coming up in March, this coming March. And what your attorney did was countersue me on other things and looked for things with a uku comb. And I have never tried to use the special funds for anything. What we did as a committee was give special funds to Lunalilo Home. That was the only thing we did, was give those special funds to Lunalilo Home. We did not use it for personal projects.
Did you take it out of physical reserve?
Yes, we did,
no?
but the whole committee voted on it. The whole board voted on it.
I didn't
it
vote
was
on
not
it.
a secret.
This is what we're going to be looking towards the future.
But wait a minute. You know, she said these things on the record, and they are not true. None of it is true. So I don't want to go there, but because this is live stream, I don't want people to believe that what you have said is truthful, because it is not. It is not. Not one word is true. So let us begin now by taking the.
I want to say something. I want to say something. Trustee Apo brought up a good point about.
I think it's time we take the vote.
Only after you had your
Point-
say. People
point
are
of order.
entitled to respond.
Point of order.
After you had your say,
Point
that's
of
something like you
order.
cut us off.
Since Trustee Apo has said that he wants an open vote and there's two trustees running for the chairmanship, instead of following the rules of the chair, what we will do is you have two candidates. You have myself and you have Trustee Lindsay. So we're going to take a roll call vote, and as your name comes up, you will either vote Lindsay or you will vote Akana.
Oh, wait. I just want to get clarification from board counsel. What is the process? How does the process work?
This is the process. This is Robert's rules.
The chair sets it.
The chair sets the rules on Robert's rules.
Robert's rules are the rules, not the chair's rules. So the bylaws say Robert's rules. The chair can't modify Robert's rules. They're the rules that apply.
Right?
How does
So
the
we'll
vote
do a
get
roll
taken?
call vote.
So let me ask this question. Does the trustees only can exercise one vote
One
if there's
vote.
two candidates? You need to be clear about that.
Yeah,
What?
clarify. Like, how is this going to work?
Only one
We're
vote?
going to take a roll call vote. We have two candidates, myself and Trustee Lindsay.
And we need to
When
declare
your
which
name,
vote-
That's right. When your name is called in the roll call, you will shout out either Lindsay or Akana. Okay?
Can I get a recess?
We used to do,
Can I get a recess?
we used to do a secret ballot.
No.
You choose one or the other.
Can I move to recess?
I second the recess.
Can I move to recess?
Point of clarification.
Can I move to recess?
Second.
Can I move to recess?
second.
Look, why
Can I
are you
move to
folks
recess?
trying to destroy this
I just
meeting?
want to move to recess. I
For
want to
what
think about
purpose?
this.
You have to state the purpose.
Okay,
What
we
is
have
the
to make
purpose?
sense of all of this. We just heard both
We
sides.
just made sense of it.
And
Now we need to
now
vote.
we have to pick on a chair, and
That's
this
right.
is what's happening. And I want to make sure I make the right choice.
You have made a choice. You have chosen trustee Lindsay.
We didn't vote yet. I wanna call for a recess right now.
It's been moved and seconded.
You
for
need a
recess.
two-thirds vote
We'll
for
take a vote.
recess.
We're entitled to a vote.
You need a according to
30.
Robert's rules.
Madam Chair,
two-thirds
you
vote.
know, an ethical chairman would
Two-thirds-
relinquish the chair when they are a candidate. An ethical chairman would relinquish the chair when they are a candidate.
That's
Okay?
not in Robert's
And this
rules.
is an example of the kind of leadership you always put us through, where you get people fighting with each other every goddamn time. That's what you're buying into, Kelly.
Robert's rules do not allow that. All right, 5 minutes recess. That's what they do. They just work hard at destroying the meeting.
I did it live, Rowena.
Oh,
We have the facts about
Yeah, exactly.
sexual harassment?
Lee, didn't you nominate Rowena? I don't think you should sit there. Hulu should sit there, because she never nominated or seconded.
Why me?
Because she nominated Rowena and John seconded. I don't want to chair it.
Meeting is called back to order. We will have a roll call vote.
Madam Chair, I would like to invoke Article 5 of the bylaws that states, vote for chair and vice chair of the board shall be by a method determined by a majority of all members to which the board is entitled. And I would like to move that Article 5 be considered.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to rule you out of order because in Robert's rules, which our office follows, it says that the chair of the board will set the rules at the beginning of the meeting. You cannot, in the middle of the meeting, insert other rules. And the judge is here to verify that. So we are following the rules of Robert's rules, and you're out of order. I'm sorry.
They're not mutually exclusive. You have Robert's rules and you have your rules. So if your rules are in the bylaws, obviously you got to follow them. But you also have to follow Robert's rules.
If you care to jeopardize this vote by just blatantly ignoring and doing what you feel like, I welcome you to do that. But there will be repercussions if you are not pono in the way you handle this meeting, Rowena. You need to really think about what I'm saying.
You are out of order, and you cannot threaten the chair.
I'm not
you
threatening
cannot
the chair. I'm
threaten
saying
the chair,
how the vote
or
is
you will
taken
be
is
removed.
important. The process
You cannot
is
threaten
important.
the chair, or you will be removed. You
I'm
are
not
out of
threatening
order.
you. I'm
Point of
asking
order.
you
You
to
are out of
abide by
order.
the rules.
You are out of order. We're taking a roll call vote. Ready?
Wait, can I say something before this roll call vote? I'd like to nominate Hulu Lindsay.
I'd like to nominate Colette Machado.
The nominations have been closed.
No, they
I didn't
have
hear
not.
that. I didn't
They
hear
have
it.
not
Did you hear it? I didn't hear it.
I'd like to nominate Leahu Isa.
I'd like to nominate John Wahe the Fourth. Let's get everybody on the table.
I'd like to offer up some remarks.
Trustee Lindsay.
I consider board leadership a privilege. As chairperson, my commitment to this board has been ensuring that our organization is well managed and its financial situation remains sound. Earlier, the issue about you raiding our special fund was brought up. The reason why we needed to follow through on your commitment to Lunalilo Home. The reason why we had to help you make that commitment, you made it on your own without the majority of the board. And then when it came to the board, to maintain the integrity of this board because of a commitment that you made as an individual, we supported you in that decision. So it makes my point that I've always wanted and always pursued the premise that our financial situation needs to remain sound. My references to serve again as chair, along with the support that I have from Trustee Apo, from Trustee Machado, and from Trustee Ahuna, is supported by my re-election just recently by 194,000 voters who vouched for me in the recent OHA election. A key theme that I'd like to organize our board of efforts around as chair, if I am so blessed to continue as chair, is helping OHA play a bigger role in closing the income gap between our people and other residents of our state. I see an opportunity for our board to take greater responsibility for improving the upward mobility of our people. I also see an opportunity for us to connect our organization with resources that can help improve our people's sense of economic well-being. working together, as emphasized by Trustee Ahuna earlier. I believe that our board can propel OHA to be as effective as it can be by moving more of our people up the socioeconomic ladder. We live in a capitalist democracy. Raising our people's standard of living is our responsibility. And if we take this responsibility seriously, then we owe our people a renewed commitment to making our community a place where every Hawaiian, if she or he is diligent, works hard and smart enough, can get ahead and achieve the quality of life that our people, as the first peoples of these islands, so rightfully deserve. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
before we move on, I'd like to move that we close the nominations.
thank you.
Judge, who's actually on the,
Oh, gosh.
Nominations.
we have 3 now, right?
No, we had
We have
several. Oh.
Well, did everybody accept it? That's the thing.
Well, I don't know
No,
if there was a second for any of the new ones.
Second is not needed on a
Wait,
nomination.
oh, that's true. Okay.
And those nominated can elect to decline. But Madam Chair, I'd like to invoke Article 5B and call for a vote by ballot.
Yeah,
Any of those who are nominated who wants to withdraw at this time, Judge Klein says we should do so.
I would like to decline. Yeah. Me too.
I'd like to decline myself.
Fine.
Okay, there will be 9 ballots passed out. You will write the name of the candidate that you
Madam Chair, may I just have a comment before the board before you take your vote, because I think it's a very serious
the
matter.
vote has been called already.
Well, my comment is that as you vote, there will be 2 serious matters that are being entertained by the executive branch, by the governor. And part of a 4-year process, Trustee Aquino, that has led up to the fiscal sustainability plan has been a specific legal and judicial strategy that has led to the public land trust. Your vote and all your votes, trustees, will determine whether or not we will be successful in those public land negotiations. You should very seriously think about that as we talk about fiscal sustainability. Because this was not over the past year, 2 years. It was 4 years when I became Pohana. And we will actualize it with your right vote or not. So we will be successful or we will not be. And we will pay severe consequences if we are not. Thank you.
Nathan will be collecting the ballots. Judge.
Trustee Akana. Trustee Akana. Trustee Akana. Trustee Lindsay. 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 Anna. Trustee Akana. Congratulations.
Trustees. Thank you very much. All right, the next nomination is for vice chair. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Leah Huisa.
Do you second the motion?
I will second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Close the nominations.
I'd like to close the nominations.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 5 ayes. No? Padalo. 5 yes, 1 no. All right, the next committee is the Resource Management Chair.
Twice, it's
Okay, Trustee Lindsay had 1 Honolulu, so Honolulu, 2.
that's an abstention.
Let's do a roll call vote just to make it. Yes, for the vice chair. Okay. You have to vote yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes.
An abstention.
Right, the next committee chair is for Committee on Resource Management. I'd like to nominate Hulu Lindsay.
Other nominations?
There are no other nominations, then the nominations are closed. Let's have a roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. The other committees will be announced next week. I will agendize another meeting for next week. And there will be other committees and ad hoc committees, and hopefully some of our other colleagues will decide to join us in other committee structures. So if there is no other comments, there is the BAE committee, and I hope to bring back land and economic development, and others. So I hope that next week everybody will attend, and we look forward to working with as many trustees as possible. So I thank you all for coming. And if there are any beneficiary comments or announcements, Any announcements, Mr. Administrator? None? It's
Ours investiture.
Mars the investiture.
Oh, do we have rehearsal today?
Yeah,
3 o'clock? 3 o'clock at the church. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock at the
Rehearsal.
church. Okay, do you have a question?
Just a comment. Congratulations, Madam Chair. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to working with you and all the trustees to build a
Thank
strong
you.
OHA.
Thank you. Let's hope that it can be a peaceful journey. Thank you all very much, and I look forward to working with everyone, and especially the staff. Thank you. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.
That's never easy. There's no soap.
It is. That's the gift.
We get to keep
Yep.
this listing $25. We gotta report it.
I think it's about 40.